Social life in the 1960s. Introduction to the 1960s. The 1960s was a time of big change. It was an exciting decade for many people. New ideas about music, fashion, and freedom were popular. Young people wanted to do things differently. The world seemed faster and more colorful. Technology reaches new heights. One huge event happened in 1969. For the first time, humans walked on the moon. People everywhere watched it on their TVs. Astronaut Neil Armstrong said, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." This amazing feat made everyone look to the future. The fight for equal rights. Not everything was happy, though. In America, many people fought for civil rights. They wanted equal treatment for all races. Peaceful protests and marches were common. Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. inspired millions. He famously said, "I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin but by the content of their character." Music shapes a generation. Music was incredibly powerful in the 1960s. Bands like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones were superstars. Their songs talked about love and peace. Music festivals brought huge crowds together. This new sound became the voice of the young generation. Fashion gets fun and free. Fashion changed a lot during this time. Clothes became much more colorful and casual. Men grew their hair long. Women wore mini skirts and bold patterns. Fashion was a way for people to express their personality and new ideas. Television brings the world home. Television became a central part of family life. Almost every home had a TV set. Families watched news, comedies, and variety shows together. Important events, like the moon landing, were broadcast live. TV connected everyone to current events. Protests for peace. Many young people protested against the Vietnam War. They carried signs and sang songs for peace. They believed in solving problems without fighting. These protests were a major part of student life. The call for peace was loud and clear. Changes in daily life. Daily life was different from today. There were no smartphones or internet. People used rotary phones to call friends. They listened to music on vinyl records. Kids played outside until the street lights came on. The space race excitement. America and the Soviet Union competed in space. This competition was called the space race. Each country wanted to achieve more firsts. It led to satellites, spacewalks, and finally the moon landing. Everyone was fascinated by space exploration. The influence of radio. Radio was still very important. People listened to the latest hit songs on AM radio. Disc jockeys were popular celebrities. Radio was how many teens discovered new music. It was a constant soundtrack to the decade. Family time together. Families often spent evenings together. They watched TV shows or played board games. Dinner was usually a time when everyone talked about their day. Weekends might include a drive-in movie or a visit to relatives. The British invasion. British music bands became hugely popular in America. This was called the British invasion. The Beatles led this wave of new music. Their style and sound changed pop music forever. Young fans screamed at their concerts. The civil rights movement grows. The fight for equality gained more support. Laws were changed to be more fair. Peaceful sit-ins at lunch counters made headlines. People from all backgrounds joined the marches. It was a long struggle for justice. Fun and funky dances. New dance crazes swept the nation. Dances like the twist, the mashed potato, and the swim were fun and easy to do. People danced at parties and on TV shows. It was a playful and energetic part of the culture. The rise of counterculture. Some young people rejected traditional styles. They created their own hippie culture. They valued peace, love, and harmony with nature. They often lived in communes and listened to psychedelic rock music. Sports and entertainment. People enjoyed watching sports on TV. Baseball and football were very popular. New superhero comics and movies entertained kids. It was a great time for fun and games for all ages. The end of the decade. The 1960s ended with a big music festival. It was called Woodstock. Hundreds of thousands of people gathered for 3 days of peace and music. It became a symbol of the 1960s spirit. A lasting legacy. The 1960s left a big mark on history. It changed music, fashion, and social rules. It showed the power of people standing up for their beliefs. The world became more open to new ideas. Looking back, today, we still see the influence of the 60s. We listen to music from that time. We learn about the fight for civil rights. The decade teaches us about change and hope. Conclusion. The 1960s was a decade of dreams and action. People reached for the moon and fought for equality on Earth. It was a time of great challenges but also great hope. Its lessons about peace and justice are still important for us today.